What is up, guys? Welcome back to Bowman Plays. Today I'm going to be covering the 3.1 patch to Battlefield 2042. DICE seems to have listened to the Battlefield community, and they've made some big updates to guns, to vehicles, and to the way the game works. So stay tuned for more information on that, and thanks for watching. Okay guys, we have a ton of new changes to the game through this 3.1 patch. A lot of those changes are smaller changes to audio and to a lot of Xbox users and the way that they're going to be able to load in, play cross-platform games. I won't get into a ton of detail on that. What I will say is that there are 4 major changes to the way the game has been set up. This update has changed recoil, bullet spread, hit penetration, hit registration, and vehicles have been majorly debuffed. These are 4 game-changing updates that they have made. They've listened to the Battlefield community. This is what people wanted, and DICE has actually come through. Well, it's day 1, so I guess we're going to find out real soon if these updates have actually made an impactful change to the game. Guys, comment below if you think what you're playing today in the Battlefield 3.1 patch is a good change, if you like it, if you don't like it, what you don't like about it, and if you have any more things that you think the game needs to have changed, comment those below. It'd be very interesting to hear your thoughts. But as I was reading through the patches, there were some big changes to the way that vehicles worked. Most notably, they seem to have decreased the effectiveness of the 33mm cannon. The rate of fire went from 350 to 330. Heat per bullet went from 0.13 to 0.14, so the heat bar is going to increase. It's going to overheat a lot quicker. Heat drops per second, 0.5 to 0.475, so it's going to take longer for it to cool down after it overheats. And the blast damage went from 20 to 18, so overall, in all accounts, the 33mm cannon has been debuffed quite heavily. So look out for that when you're in your vehicles. It's not going to be quite as effective against infantry. They said for the hovercraft, the 40mm GPL grenade launcher, the blast damage has been lowered from 55 to 35. So that's also a pretty large decrease in damage and blast radius. And then the EBAA Wildcat, the 57mm cannon, has reduced dispersion. The ammo got cut from 12 to 8. Impact damage now went from 85 to 75, and the blast damage now went from 70 to 35. So basically cut in half the blast damage of the 57mm cannon. That is huge. Other updates include frag grenades taking longer to detonate, from 1.1 second to 1.4. That is after bounce or on a hard collision. They've increased the damage of a frag grenade across the game modes. It now deals 120 damage and is guaranteed a kill on armored players too. That's a big change, but they have decreased the number of grenades you can carry. So incendiary and frag grenades have been decreased from 2 to 1 on all players. There's been a debuff to proximity sensors, lowered spotting radius from 30 meters to 20 meters, and they've lowered the uptime from 30 seconds to 14 seconds. Lowered amount of proximity sensors a player can carry went from 2 to 1, so a big decrease there. Another huge update to the game has been on the breakthrough game mode and where the objectives are placed on the maps. Kaleidoscope, Orbital, and Hourglass, there are no longer rooftop capture points objectives because they were almost impossible to capture, and I think this is a huge add to the game. Will change the way that game mode is played on those 3 maps, and I think it was very much a necessary change they needed to make, and they listened, and now they are all ground level objectives, easier to access, easier to take over if you're the offensive team. So another big update. Across the board, weapons are much better. SMGs now have a buff to their hip fire. Assault rifles and LMGs have a lower dispersion rate and spread of bullets over long distances when you're tap firing and not holding down the trigger. So look for those to be way more effective. You're going to want to use a SMG now in close quarters. It will beat basically all assault rifles in a very tight space, whereas before that was not the case. So look for that to be happening more. Make sure you've upgraded all your SMGs for those tight objective points that you want to capture. And assault rifles, you should be able to get more range. Your LMGs, you should be able to hit more enemies consistently and get more kills from range. Let me know what assault rifle you like to use right now, what attachments you're using, and if you notice a difference with this update taking effect. I think it's going to be a huge change to the game for the better. So we'll see if DICE has come through with this one. I'm sure they'll have more patches in the future, maybe balancing this if it does. If assault rifles do become too powerful, I don't think they will. But yeah, it's exciting news, and we'll see how it plays out in the future. But if you enjoy this one, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want more Battlefield content, and I'll be back in the near future with more Battlefield videos. So thank you, have a good day.